The first proposal is to change the constitutions of the current bodies for better governance. So the reason of changing this is there's to remove some of the directors. So first, there's a directors to remove is Resolution 1, Injit Noor Azam as a executive chairman. Second, Ng Ji Kyung as an independent director. Third, Ng Ji Seong as a executive director, MD, and currently is an acting chairman. Fourth, Mr. Lai Wei-Ket, executive directors. Fifth, Lu Chu-an, executive directors. Sixth, Jake Lee Kuan Chuan, executive director, independent director. So seven, Puan Aswaza Al-Yafi, independent directors, and there is a newly appointed executive directors, which is Hui Kwang Ho, and also a newly appointed independent directors, Tam Xiang Chuan. Okay, the reason to remove is first, as a small company, we have too many boards. So in order to healthy companies, so the main reasons to remove is we need to have a clear directions of the company, a better corporate governance. So when this removal of these 9 directors, in our board we have 11 directors. So to remove 9 is balance, that is equals to 2. So when 2 directors, we couldn't get a proper governance, then today I propose 3 new directors to be joining these resolutions. The proposed new directors is Dato' Batuka Amar bin Dato' Syed Muhammad Niam. The second proposed directors is Injit Adinos bin Muhammad Yunus. And third proposed directors is Mr. Chong Yu Chan. In light of these 3 professional directors, which is coming from the government institutions, finance institutions, and risk knowledge of the experience that they have. So these are the directions that I propose. In the coming resolutions, actually, as a company, we feel that the company need a better futures movement to have a better corporate governance in line of the new proposed directors. At the same time, as a shareholders, major shareholders, I have my rights to call these EGMs. And the other resolutions to discuss is there's a private placement, which is 10% private placement, which I also these resolutions to re-evaluate, and also a share buyback resolutions to re-evaluate. So these private placements, it will be dilute of the shareholders, also the minority shareholder as well. So I also put this as a resolutions to re-evaluate. To carry on this, actually this movement actually is not the first time that I do this review against for these resolutions, which is happened back to the company AGMs, which is for on 6th December last year. During that times, as a shareholders, always we have our rights to vote. Therefore, during that time, I also vote against. As these requisitions of AGMs against, I came up for these resolutions for the shareholders. So for the continuous resolutions, there's to better governance, and also we looking forward to have a diversified visas to the companies. So all resolutions is having a copies to the medias. Yeah.
My name is Dino Ng Shi Fang. All right, you can hear me clear. My name is Dino Ng Shi Fang, and beside me is Brian Ng Shi Chiao. The both of us are the directors of the Revenue Group Berhad. Is also the major shareholders. Combinations of the both of us is like 22%. So we would like to clarify today's on the two announcement into the Bursa, and we are taking the step up to clarify what is going on the two announcement that the company was making the announcement on the 4th and on the 5th of January 2023. Let me go back with the story, what's going on. On the 29th of December, all this information I'm sharing with you is already in the press conference. In the press release. I'll just read out loud. I'll read in facts, and I read in out truthfully and honestly and with transparency. So on the 29th of December 2022, the both of us received a letter of request for explanations. Let me share with you the first letter that for the for the explanations. The letter to Brian is allegate non-delivery of thermal paper roll. The paper roll is actually, these paper roll are used for the terminal, the post terminal, for printing out the receipt when you perform a credit card transactions or debit card transactions. So let me read out the letter, the content of the letter. The acting AC chairman, Ng Chi Kiang, written this down. It has come to our attention that you, as the Director of Revenue, Howard Sendram Berhad, have caused payments to be made to the company by the name of Safety and Bullets Film Sendram Berhad. In the short form, we call SBF. Purportedly for the purchase of the thermal paper roll. However, no thermal paper roll was supplied by SBF at any time. We would be grateful if you could let us have your explanation in the respect above by noon 3rd of January 2023. With a very short period of timeline, the company is asking Brian Ng Shi Chiao for the explanations. However, let us speak because due to the process until today, 17th of January, the company has not given us back any further information. But before that, as a duly fiduciary duty as a directors, we respond back to the company eventually. So on the 30th of December, because there is no evidence. There is nothing shows to us during that day. So let me just read out loud from this. There are invoices and delivery orders for the supply of thermal rolls, which will show that they were intended to deliver, but on the letter they say that there is none, and without referring to any details whatsoever to the date and the invoices, and the invoice number, the purchase quantity, the payments amount, etc. So there is totally just one piece of paper that is sending to Mr. Brian without anything. So on the 30th, that's how Brian actually wrote back to seeking for the clarifications for the details transactions, so that Brian could actually have this to clarify with the companies, that seeking for the 30 days for the explanations, and then to seek for the cross-examining evidence to go through the process. So we will comply to any of the investigations eventually, since this is a letter of request that we should be answering eventually. However, they come to the 4th of January 2023, which is the day that the company is opening up for a special board of director meetings. In the very first agenda, it was saying that to execute the 10% private placement, the rest is other business matter. So after the 10% private placement, of course that we will go through the discussion through the private placement. That is not important for today. The most important thing is the acting AC chairman, Ng Chi Kiao, actually to propose with this agenda, and then with our letters that Brian has already sent out to the board, and letting the board know that we need times in order that to carry out with the clarifications. Without much concern, the board of directors actually go through the voting to suspend the board of directors, to suspend Brian Ng Chi Kiao. And until today, we have been asking, what is the reason that you suspend? What are the actions that we should do? What are the processes that we could comply and cooperate with the processes? Until today, there is no formal suspensions letter to us until right now. Sorry, this is my very first time to go through this process. It's a very difficult time for the both of us. We wish to honestly sharing with you what is the process going through. So let me just read out. In the pertinence and the fractures of state that I alone, which is Brian, would not be authorized to approve of any payments. Based on the past practice in the company, we always have a checker and maker, and there are a lot of document support to support for doing payments. You need to have the DO, you need to have the evidence of the stock has been reaching to the warehouse, in order that our staff will be able to sign the DO, and then to eventually proceed to the finance and do the payments. We believe that the company has been doing that since the day one, then we have been doing this very professionally. And for the payment rules, the payments is actually jointly approved by dual payment system, dual payment authorizer, which is Brian Ng and Eddie Ng, which is the group managing directors. As such, the letter is only sending to Brian Ng Chi Kiao. This is the first letter to Brian Ng Chi Kiao, and this is what our response, and Brian got suspended from it. Let's talk about my case, Dino Ng Chi Fang. The letter was sent out on the 29th of December 2022 with the letter of explanations. Let me just read out. Okay, it says that alleged refusal to transfer the ownership of the company vehicles Toyota Viewfire with the plate number BPR 3108 to the company. Let me just read out the letters written by acting AC chairman. It says that it has come into our attention that you, has refused to take steps to transfer the ownership of the company's vehicles, a Toyota Wheelfire bearing registrations of BPR 3108, to the company despite of various requests. We would be grateful if you could let us have your explanations and respect on the above by the noon 3rd of January 2023. Means that on the 29th we receive, it must have the explanations eventually by the 3rd of January, and the 4th of January they immediately open up a special board of director meetings to inquiry me for this process. Again, the same time that we understood, as myself I understood, this is company's vehicles. How does it come from? Back to 2018, the same year when we raised the IPO, the company actually got a lucky draw from CIMB Bank. It was announced in the public that due to the CIMB Bank will say that this you would be registered under the company name or under any individual's name, as long as this is the directors of the company. As such, we were thinking of tax saving. Of course, you register by individual name, you could actually, it's more tax saving in terms of company name. So my name was being chosen as a trustee for the as a person to behold this car. Of course, in my mind for this long, the car is always belongs to the company. I will be happy, very happy to return the car at any time when upon the request by the company. In my memory, since 2018 until the 29th of December 2022, there is no such official mail or there's no such request sending to me, Dino Ng Shi Fang. And there is no reminder at all. How can I refuse when there is no letters coming to me? With that, my suspension was being executed as an executive functions director. What does it mean? Means that I am still a director in the company revenue group Berhad, because under the Company Act, director can be only removed by the shareholders but not suspended. So I was suspended functional, executive functional as a director. What does it mean? It means that I still holding employment, a senior manager, which is the group CTO, which that I could not enter into any of my duty to access into my IT staff daily operations. I comply to that. But however, as a director, you are still allowed to access the company's information. And with that, since the 4th of January, during the special board of directors meeting, it was verbally voted me out as suspensions to the executive functions. I complied, so I would decided that well, since the day one, the company start 2023. This is the company that we found. I was one of the founder who found it. This is like my home. I have left a lot of my personal stuff in the company, especially books. Is the wisdom of carry on with what I can contribute my professional life to the company. Myself, that I take a very good long holiday to do my own study, improve self-improvement. That is what we are also carrying out. With the same time, Brian is actually also doing a police report eventually to say that we are intended to retrieve our own personal stuff. Second, during the day that when we retrieved the stuff, it came into on the 5th of January. That would be another announcement from the company. It says that Dino Ng is threatened as a thief to retrieve the 40 boxes 30 or 40 boxes of the goods, the boxes out from the company. In fact, we, as a fiduciary, we comply to the law. We are giving a good faith. We do not want to hurt any companies of doing that. That is called criminal. That's why how Brian actually launched a report first to say that we are going back to retrieve our own personal belongings. And that is also that just stated for the past 10 years, the company's very important documents are already digitalized and already in the clouds. Today, they are still safely reside in the cloud eventually. The company has not been practicing that sustainability since that day. I mean, since the very early days until today. Even in our suspensions, we cannot do the daily operations, but the company is still running well. That is what both of us are very glad, grateful to the team. They are done professionally. So with that, our suspensions letters in officials are not clear. We are waiting for the companies to actually respond to us. What is the next step that we should do? I think that we have been silenced for all this while is because we do not want to tarnish the company, even though our both names are being tarnished and defamed quite badly in the public media, in the Bursa exchange. We remain silent. We remain our rights to hold this. But today, I think is the day that we're going to share out what is going on to the public, since we have given enough time for the company to respond to us.